So this is just a quick demo of some of the different pieces of content that we can play with for HearMe, and we can create additional pieces that you don't see, but at least you can gather, some of the building blocks that we can play with just to get started.
Hey, I just wanted to give you a quick insight into how the platform works and how we create content. So right now, I'm just doing a voiceover. I'm recording this currently on my iPhone using the Voice Notes app, and it makes it really easy for anyone to create and upload content at scale, because all I'm going to do from here is make sure that I take the voice recording when I'm done and upload it on the web portal to whatever question type you see moving forward. Choose the background or the environment that we want people in, and decide how we want to guide the conversation. So this can be used for training, or it can be used as sort of a reflective portal for listeners or users to continue their conversation or reflection after a session. And there's also tools to create feedback. So really excited to see what you think, and you'll just kind of get a flavor for that over the next couple of examples that I'm going to show you. Everything we do at Eunoe is designed to be some form of a template that can be customized to the needs of our customers and users. And the sliding scale seems like a great place to start, because it's a great way to rate how someone's experiencing a reaction to something. And here I can ask you to rate on this scale, whatever it may be. I could ask you how much you like broccoli. And the question text that you see in front of you could say, how much do you like broccoli? Now, obviously, none of us really care about the answer to that question, but we can take real research, we can take real people, real questions, and meaningful questions and put them there. We can use, just like I'm doing right now, the Voice Notes app on my phone, record custom audio that truly captures the empathy and personality of people on the other end who are trying to reach those who are struggling, as they communicate the details and depth that is not communicated via text. And that will give people the context to answer this question. So for fun, just rate something on here, and then we'll go to the next question, and I'll show you different kinds of interactions that we've built out so far.
As you can see here, I've added numerical values to give context between point A and point B. These labels, of course, can be customized to say whatever it is that gives context to the question.
So this is a variation of the single slider interaction. And instead of measuring one variable, we're now going to measure 3 in relation to one another. And a great example that I like with this is looking at something like burnout, which has 3 factors that go together that comprise burnout. That exhaustion, particularly emotional exhaustion, cynicism, inefficacy, or ineffectiveness. And you rate it the same way on that sliding scale, but when you look at it together, it really provides a more holistic picture. So again, all of these can be customized. You do not have to use any of the variables that I listed here. You can write your own questions, add your own voiceovers, do before and after ratings on any of these things, and use them however you need to.
Of course, this isn't the only way to rate burnout, but this is just another tool that we have. And on the last question type, we used numerical values. Here we've used qualitative values to describe and add context to this question.
We did it again with 6 variables. Here I looked at the 6 core emotions that are particularly relevant in an enterprise setting for customers, but hey, you could do it for anything.
So we could do this with 5 variables, whatever we want to do. We can create new question types. Whatever that may be.
In addition to the variety of sliding scales, we've also included a Likert scale, which can be customized however you see fit. These scales are fantastic for measuring attitudes and opinions and are traditionally used in market and psychological research as a standard measurement tool. Each scale can be used individually, or they can be linked to one another as a before and after metric. This allows content creators to better see the impact that we're having on our community. And as you saw earlier, sessions can be anonymous or they can be linked to a user's account. So this is very useful for things like clinical trials or keeping tabs on how a user is progressing, and offers our team a lot of flexibility on how we use this platform. So for the sake of this question, I'm curious how useful you find this tool and functionality.
So you can actually add several rows here. We recommend not adding more than 3, just because it adds a little bit too much depth here. But I like adding kind of just this one where you have, these labels. It's very clear what I'm rating here. How useful is this for my community, giving me this simple scale? I think it's extremely useful, but we've used this in a lot of different ways.
Now that we've covered a few ways to measure people's experiences, we wanted to give people a tool to help add structure and order to the chaos that they're experiencing. And one of the most powerful tools to do that is creating a list. And there are so many ways to build on this, but the easiest one is to have a set of options that you can rank in order of priority. And that simple priority list gives you the ability to focus your energy, direct your resources, and move forward. So this list can be customized, whether it's to the individual, group of individuals, and it can be changed from session to session, day to day, week to week, whatever that may be. Also, having a finite set of options that are preset for the user gives them a jumping off point that they're going to take and customize and build on, because they're going to grapple with it in their own mind. They're going to use this as a foundation. So that's our goal, is to create tools that we can build on, develop, and grow from, and this is step 1.
So what's great here is, one, we can customize, of course, the question, but also the ranking order. So most to least, we can change how we're ranking. And then we can customize the options in here. So based on my conversation with, say, a listener or someone who's coming to speak, we might know what these options should be, and having them rank what's important to them and helping them funnel their decision trees. These could be their core values. These could be a whole number of different things that are going on for them. These could be related to burnout. This could be related to school. This could be related to any number of things going on. And it could change on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, whatever is important, and we can track that over time. So ultimately, it'll be very interesting to see how this evolves with the added use of AI, but just even having this as a preset list, I think adds just so much value, and eliminating a lot of that choice helps people come to their own decisions on their own. It gives them a funnel by which to think about things in a more concrete way. So by having information from a prior session, you can really narrow this down in a very helpful way. So I'm very excited what HearMe and Eunoe can do together to make a lot of very useful questions with this question type here.
This was one of the earliest elements that we designed, this portal that would transport you between environments. So from the beach to the mountains or wherever you decided to direct the user. But it's a great holding place and narrative element to put a nice voiceover and have the user do something once you're done listening. So we can use it, not use it, but it is a nice thing to demonstrate that we can do, as well as develop plenty of other tools like this.
Yeah, I actually love this element. It's really more of a narrative element, but it transports you somewhere
You can change the way you feel by changing how you breathe. So breathe in equal counts. In through your nose, hold, out through your mouth, and hold. Fall into this flow and notice your mind beginning to relax. This technique is called box breath. It activates your parasympathetic nervous system and shifts your body out of fight or flight mode and into a calm and relaxed state. It lowers your blood pressure, cortisol levels, and stress. And you can practice this anytime you want. This will help you find clarity in the chaos.
So we just did a breathing meditation. I recorded that using box breath, of course, which is a great breathing technique that does all of those different things. This element, of course, can be used on any environment that you've seen or any other one that we create or use. So it doesn't have to be here in this starry night sky. You could record your own voiceover. You do not have to use mine. You could add your own music to it. And we could also add different timing. We can do different things like that. We can create additional visuals for more meditative effects, more breathing exercises, things of that nature. This is really just the start of a lot of those kind of components. But we found this one to be very effective.
Now just take a moment and think about your community for a second. The people that you're working with and serving. How can they benefit from this? What are the conversations that we need to be having with them? What conversations do they need to be having with themselves? How can we measure success? Where do those conversations need to take place? Who should be having those conversations? How can we create the best flow and the best experience here? And how can we work with you to make that happen?
This question is one of the reasons we started Eunoe. It captures your voice, and every single person has their own story, and every single person has a different comfort level of sharing their story and their voice. But it's that story that is what needs to be shared or told. Maybe not publicly, maybe not every day, maybe not all the time. but they need to be able to understand themselves, and that's why they go to HearMe, is because sometimes they just need to talk. And we want to help connect those stories and share them. We want to help people advocate for themselves. So here we want to add value to that portal. This question type can be an open-ended question, or we can add a timer here so that we could say, hey, you need to use the whole 30 seconds to answer this question and describe how this situation makes you feel, or whatever the prompt may be. But we can do multiple variations with this. There's a lot we can explore with voice and use it to help people discover themselves and connect to one another. And we very much look forward to hearing your thoughts on this and how we can work together to help people help themselves. And then, of course, if they're not satisfied with their answer, they can re-record it. I'm going to play it, and then I'm going to re-record it because I don't want to listen to everything I just said. But this question is one of the reasons. Obviously, we know that we can play and listen to what I just said. I'll re-record and submit. And now this session will be recorded in the web portal. Because I did this on guest mode, which means we saw a 4-digit code which can be anonymized. It works very well with Qualtrics. We can tie this very well to clinical trials, or we can tie this into its own sort of system, or we can use this, to really just sort of run anonymized trials. Sorry, a little bit repeating myself. One, we have the guest mode, which runs very well for on-site trials. We also have user sign-ins, which can be tied to your email. We can connect your 4-digit code to your email if you so desire. That's very easy to do at a later date. Once you've signed into your email, if you had decided to do that, you would have an entire list of all of your sessions. This becomes sort of an audio diary, and that will continue to get built out so that you have a record of all of your sessions. It can be shared with the designated people you trust. Over time, we see this sort of being built out like an electronic health record. This still needs to be built in the proper ways, but we have the foundations for that, and it's being done, very correctly to do. So excited to see what we can do together, and like it says here, we're just very excited to get your thoughts and see how we can build together. And as you can see, we're ready for the next participant.